AITA for cutting my mom out of my life and my child's life because she remains close to my wife's abuser? For context, I, 34M, have always had a good relationship with my mom, 55F. She was a single mom who worked her ass off to raise me on her own. I've always seen her as my rock, my best friend, and someone who's always had my back. My mom has a longtime best friend, Alex, 58M, who's basically like family to her. They've been inseparable for as long as I can remember, and he's been there for all the important moments in her life. A few years ago, when my wife, Emily, 29F, was job hunting, my mom helped her land a position working directly for Alex. We thought it was a great opportunity, good pay, good hours, and working for someone we thought was practically family. I couldn't have been more wrong. Shortly after starting the job, Emily's demeanor began to change. She was always stressed, distant, and avoided talking about work. I knew something was off, but couldn't figure out what. After weeks of begging her to tell me what was going on, she finally broke down and told me everything. Alex was a complete creep. He wasn't just inappropriate. He was a nightmare. He'd make degrading sexist jokes, talk about wanting her to give him a blowjob, and would make remarks about disciplining her whenever she made a mistake at work. One time, he even made Emily and his secretary line up against a wall while he took his belt off, like he was going to hit them, though he never actually did. Emily was terrified, and I was furious. I wanted to storm into his office and beat the living shit out of him, but Emily begged me not to make things worse. She was too scared to report it, so we turned to my mom for help. My mom was visibly pissed and confronted Alex. To her credit, she got him to back off and even offered to help Emily transfer to a different position where she wouldn't have to deal with Alex anymore. I was grateful she stepped in, but I honestly thought that would be the end of their friendship. I mean, how could she stay friends with a guy like that? But she did. She didn't just stay friends. It was like nothing had happened. Alex was still her best friend, and she continued to hang out with him regularly. Emily was deeply hurt by this and told me she couldn't have my mom in her life anymore if she was going to stay close to Alex. She went completely no contact with my mom, and I drastically reduced how much I interacted with her. Fast forward to now. Emily is pregnant with our first child, and we're over the moon. This should be one of the happiest times in our lives, but it's been overshadowed by the ongoing issue with my mom. Emily made it clear that she doesn't want my mom around the baby as long as she's still friends with Alex. I get it. How can we trust someone who willingly stays close to someone who abused my wife? I sat down with my mom and laid it all out. She had to choose between us or Alex. I told her I loved her, but I couldn't have her in my life or my child's life if she was going to keep supporting someone who hurt my wife. She asked for time to think, which I gave her, even though it felt like I was slowly dying inside waiting for her decision. After a few days, she called me back, and her response broke me. She said she was sorry, but she couldn't cut Alex out of her life. She told me that Alex had been the only constant in her life. He was there when my sister was born, supported her through every personal crisis, and was the only person who made her feel like she mattered when she was going through hell a few years ago. She said she loved us, but that she couldn't lose Alex because, at the end of the day, he was the only one who she felt truly cared about her. I felt crushed but told her that she'd made her choice, and I had to make mine. I told her I was going no contact and that she wouldn't be meeting her grandchild. She sounded genuinely sad, but said she was confident in her decision. Now, my entire family is coming down on me, calling me heartless and cruel for making my mom choose. They're saying she's been through a lot and that I should never have put her in that position. I feel like they don't understand how deeply this cuts. I never wanted to lose my mom, but I can't justify having someone who supports my wife's abuser in our lives. So, Reddit, AITA for cutting my mom out of my life and my child's life because she refuses to let go of Alex?